Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Jennifer Mulligan. Is that how I say it right?
Yes.
Jennifer, it's kind of a unique program today. We're going to talk about cameras in the classroom. Jennifer has started a petition to see if there's an interest, I guess, from parents, and she's really an advocate for this. Maybe we should be putting cameras in our pre-K and special needs classes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel that it's a deterrent. It's not just a deterrent, it protects both sides.
Right.
So it protects students and it protects teachers.
Right.
With recent things that have taken place
over
the last month, I think had the cameras been in that classroom, I don't think it would have happened.
Right.
And had it happened, it would have came to light a lot sooner.
We'd have seen both sides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would have seen what led up to it and seen how it was handled.
Right.
You can't argue with film.
No, that's
You
what
just
they
can.
say. So on the video, we have video, And I remember when body cams came out for police officers, there was a lot of pushback, and then eventually they said, "Whoa, wait a minute, this protects me more than the victim, so to speak." So all of a sudden, it works both ways.
It does.
And if you know you're being recorded, you act a little different sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
But sometimes the best gets to you. So your child was in this class.
He was.
A great witness. So
he definitely made a very good witness.
So the sheriff department called you, and you went. Of course, they didn't bring you into the room when they questioned your child, do they?
No, they don't. Actually,
I was curious because normally you always see on TV, well, you can't witness it, you can't,
They said I could if I chose to.
Okay.
But I wanted him to say what he wanted to say.
That's a good idea.
I did not want to get involved.
Yeah. Because all they're doing, they keep looking at you to make sure they're saying the right thing.
Yeah, I didn't want there to be a question of whether I was coercing him.
Right.
So he went in there, and he was in there for a good bit. They do it with play. They have a really cute room.
Right.
And he went in there, and he did whatever he did, and he came back out, and then he didn't want to come home. He wanted to stay and play.
Well, that's good. But it's amazing, 4 and 5-year-olds are pretty smart.
They are. They are.
We treat them like little kids, which they are, but they learn way more than we probably did when we were 4 or 5. I know definitely, I don't even remember 4 or 5 years old. And but yeah, it's a completely different world we live in with TV and video and phone and they just absorb like sponges.
They are.
I always tell people, I said, when a 5-year-old can speak Chinese, we don't realize that.
And that's the best age to teach them things, which is why it's really unfortunate that this happened.
Yeah. Like you don't go to school to, like a kid in America, they learn English. We never taught them English. They just heard you speak it and they learn it. Mm-hmm. Just like in China or any other language, they just pick it up like a sponge. And we don't give people credit for these little kids, for credit for the things that they did learn. I always say your personality is developed by the time you're 5 years old. So I pity some parents on some 5-year-olds. I've learned. So tell us about this petition, and we kind of know why you got it started, but go ahead and go into that and how we can find out more information.
Well, my petition is to have cameras placed in preschool classrooms and special needs classrooms. So this wouldn't just benefit the 5-year-olds. The special needs is all throughout every grade. Because some of these kids, these special needs kids, they can't talk. And if they can, sometimes they don't get their point across.
Right.
So if something happens, they're trying to communicate with you and you're just not getting it.
Right.
So the cameras, if a parent's questioning something, they can be like, hey, can we pull the camera for such and such date? I feel like something happened. And they would have that. The preschool kids, they don't really understand. It's their first year of school. They don't know what's supposed to happen, what's not, what's normal, So it'd be great for them to have that. Definitely since this occurred, it's just more proof that we need this as an extra security measure for them.
Sure.
So I really feel like this is the way to go. This is a solution to a problem.
Right.
And I started the petition. I've gotten up to about 75 signatures so far. There's still people coming in. I have one on Facebook. It's all over the place. It's public on my Facebook page.
Okay.
It's through multiple different Facebook groups for Front Royal and Warren County. I also have paper copies for people who aren't comfortable doing online things. Okay. There's a copy at Alterations by Millie that people can go in and sign during her business hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to meet with anyone who would like to sign it. Okay. Or they can contact me on Facebook and I can send it through Facebook Messenger. Sure. But I really feel like this is a solution And, you know, even if it's just starting out with preschool and special needs, you know, once we get the funding for that, then maybe we can evolve and make it a little bigger. But right now, these are the kids that need it.
Right. I noticed that, you know, we did put cameras on buses for different reasons, and different laws involve all those things. But at the same time, you know, parents said, well, that bus driver did this. And all of a sudden they pull up the video and they realize their little angels weren't so little angels anymore.
And that is an added bonus to the cameras, that sometimes you do get, for an example, for special needs. I have a special needs child. And sometimes certain special needs, you know, they need to be restrained. And yes, teachers are trained to do this.
Right.
But kids will be kids. And they're thrashing. And, I mean, you can only do what you can do at that point.
Right.
And, you know, luckily my daughter doesn't do this, but she has friends that do. Right. And, you know, they could come back with a mark or a story. And you're questioning this, you know, and you could simply go to the front office and say, hey, can you pull the camera for Tuesday?
Right.
You know, I think something happened.
You know, a lot of these children are on medications. And you can just grab somebody like you normally would on the arm, and it might not ever bruise you, but it could bruise somebody that's on certain kind of medications because of blood thinners and all other kind of things. And just a small grab by the arm, which is not offensive or anything, or excessive, but it comes up with a bruise. And parents see that and they think, oh, their kid's been thrashed.
You know, and I mean, it doesn't take much to bruise someone. I mean, my son, he's 5. You know, he plays with his toys. He fell asleep on a toy the other day and ended up with a bruise on him.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, where did this come from?
Where'd that big indent come from?
You know, and he's got like an indent of his action figure hand in his head. You know, so I mean, things happen, and this would give transparency.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's what most people want, that. And I think teachers would want it too, because no one wants to be accused of something they didn't do.
Exactly. And we have a lot of good teachers.
Right.
And I think this would help protect them along with the students.
Right, yeah. You know, sometimes, like you said, some innocent thing done can brand you for a lifetime. You know, we happen, and our laws, and, you know, people take such drastic actions sometimes they don't realize that, and ruin both people. The child is traumatized because they're going through investigations that shouldn't happen.
Yes, and that's another thing I think these cameras could help with is, you know, if they had the camera, they wouldn't have needed to bring my son in.
Exactly.
You know, I don't have a problem with the fact that they did that. They need to do what they need to do to get results.
Right.
But they would have had that camera there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have needed to speak with any of the kids and bring back any trauma that they acquired during this.
Right.
So, and then also you have, you know, other teachers that, you know, they have that support.
Yeah, there's no fear. You know, they're reporting agents. Everyone's supposed to report if they see something. And there's a fear in that.
There is.
Because if you fear something that shouldn't have been, maybe didn't need to be reported, but you report it anyway, that's a black mark on somebody.
They're not going to believe you later.
Yeah, and later on, or now the person that you reported, you know, hates your guts because you made them go to the office for something, and then they have to defend themselves. The video eliminates a lot of that.
Yeah, it totally gets rid of the he said, she said.
Yeah. Only thing is they put cameras in. You've seen these banks, and they show you people robbing the bank, and they show them exiting. You can't even make it out. There's such poor quality, and that's inexcusable. I remember we put cameras at a corporate office down in Bethesda, and it was called a moonlit camera, and this was like 30 years ago. You could zoom in and see the veins of the tree, 1,000 feet away. So they have really good cameras.
They do. Technology is really upgraded, so I don't see.
Look at your phone, right?
Right, and I mean, the school bus cameras, they're not that great.
Right.
You can still make people out. You can still see what's going on.
You see the action, and that's really what we want.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, technology is upgraded. So I don't feel like there would be that issue.
Right.
I think if we can get this going, that the school is going to get the proper equipment to be able to see what they need to see. Because if not, it's just a waste of money.
Right.
So I don't see the school board wasting money.
No, I don't think so. But at the same time, solving one little incident problem with a camera sure saves a lot of money for lawsuits and unnecessary things that may have been totally innocent.
Exactly. And then they're like, if we're not the school board's not getting sued, then
Yeah,
there's money to
everybody loves that.
finance.
Everybody likes that. Yeah.
These kind of projects.
Yeah, if they waste enough money on enough stuff, go ahead and try cameras,
Exactly. And I really feel like this is a solid solution.
It is. It's really good. So I've never heard anybody suggest this before. Where did you come up with this idea?
I've actually been...
Seen it on TV, right?
When I had my daughter and I put her in preschool, it was terrifying. I had a senior, it was, I don't want to say senior, but a very experienced pre-K teacher who was also certified for special needs. And she had been doing special needs, special ed, however you want to say it, for years. And it was my daughter's stepping stone.
Right.
That experience was so great. We found out she got her IEP. We were able to start investigating with doctors because I thought something was a little up.
Sure.
But, it's your kid.
Sure,
you love
yeah.
them. You're like,
Sure.
they'll grow out of that.
Right.
But she was very, very helpful. But I was always terrified after that something would happen.
Right.
So it's kind of always been in the back of my head. It's just trying to get a project like that started.
Right.
And you can't run a project just like, I'm scared something's going to happen to my kid.
Right.
Yeah, you can, but are you going to get anywhere? Yeah. So it's always been there. But I feel like since this incident happened, it's needed. Right. Now is the time.
I remember watching a TV program where the parents could log in on their phone and watch their kids in the classroom. That might be a little extreme.
I don't
think our privacy laws in this country would go for that.
No.
And that's another thing too. This may require legislation to change.
Well, and laws do change. I'm not advocating for parents to be able to log in and see their kid.
Right.
I do know some daycares offer that.
Right.
I'm advocating for the school, for the deputy that's stationed at the school to have access, the principal to have access, the school board to have direct access,
Right.
not us parents.
Right. But like you said, it may require some law changes. We'll have to look into the Virginia state law and federal laws and see what we can do. But I know places have done that. I mean, people have done this. It's not a new idea.
It's not. And there's other schools that have done it. I can't give you a name off the top of my head, but there are other schools that have done it, and it's working.
Yeah.
So I don't see why we can't implement that here.
Yeah. If people feel comfortable that we'll know what happens. If something happens, we'll know about it. And I think that's what people want. It's all about transparency, and people want to feel like you're doing everything you can to protect their child.
Yeah, and this is I think this is the best way, and I don't see another option that's better.
Right.
So
sounds like a plan. So what we want to do is we want to find out where your petitions are. We'll put the links to your Facebook page in the story so people can click on that. If you support this idea, sign her petition, and we'll see if and that's really you can persuade the school board with a petition.
I actually am going on the 7th to kind of talk to them again about, because I did send an email to them about this, to kind of go back over it again. And I'm going to take the petition with me and to be able to show that it's not just me that thinks this is a good idea.
I've got 1,250 names here. Well, it should be something to pay attention, because parents, the parents are the customer, in a way. That's who the customer is.
Exactly. And if we don't send our kids to school, then, there's no reason for teachers.
There's a big school choice thing coming in our country, and it's happening in a lot of states, and there's a lot of traction in Virginia to do school choice. And people will vote with their feet. If they don't get it what they want there, they'll go somewhere else. So maybe they'll pay attention to these things, and progress is what we have. But
well, I'm hoping for a good turnout at the.
I did get a call from a school board member, and they support your petition idea. They said, well, that's a great idea. So we'll see if they can convince the other school board members the same way. But it is a good idea. And I don't see where, you always have those the conspiracy theorists, go on, we can't do, well, next thing we'll have cameras in the bedroom, So we'll see how it goes. And we'll be looking for that June 7th meeting and watch you on the video. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming in. I know this is a brave thing you've done. You put yourself out there for a lot of ridicule, and if you've read some of the comments, I'm sure there's people trolling your site already that says, "Oh, you're a bad person," And
if people don't agree, I'd love to hear what their option, their solution is.
Don't complain. Give me a solution.
Yeah.
I don't mind people, be disagreeing with us, but if you just disagree, then why, or give me a reason, give me a solution. What should we do instead? But very few people can do that or articulate that idea. They just want to complain, and that's all they do is ever complain. So we don't want to do that.
I just know I personally haven't come up with better solutions.
Yeah,
so.
that's a good start.
Yes.
And we know that they're trained. We know that special ed teachers are trained, and you have to be certified to do. You just don't stick anybody in that class. You just don't show up one day. Oh, you're going to go in special ed. Okay, I never done that, but it is a specialty now.
It is, which makes this a little more.
And it's hard to get teachers to do that.
It takes a special person.
It's like
to be able to do that
It's
job.
like being a caregiver to elderly. Your mother. You get if you've ever taken care of someone with dementia, it's not an easy task to do.
Again, it takes a very special person to do these jobs.
They give them respites. What they call it, respites. You're gonna.
Yes.
The caregiver got to go on vacation because you can only do so much, and special ed teachers are probably in that same category. So.
Yes, which I feel with what's going on, and the fact that there were special needs kids in there.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they would put a teacher that wasn't certified.
Right.
To be a special needs teacher.
I was surprised to learn that the classes were
little...
mixed like that, but that's good for both, maybe.
The preschool program has been great.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It gets the students, where they can be around a lot of different people.
Right.
And I know it did wonders for my daughter.
Right. I do want to tell people to look at her petition. I'll give you the link to the Facebook page. If you agree, sign it. But there's so many things that parents need to be involved in their kids' education.
Yes.
And just don't think the school, they do a great job. But there's always,
do.
every business has room for improvement. And school's no different. But if parents get involved with their kids' education, things are better off for everybody, I think.
Yes, school is about building relations.
It is. You got to learn these things. It's where they learn.
It is, and they're there for a good portion of their life.
Yeah.
So they definitely need the support of their
All that
parents
developmental
and the
period.
Community.
Yeah, and we need to be involved. I know a lot of parents just send them to school. That's the last thing. I have school. Talk to your teacher. But we need to do that. It's important.
It is.
It's important. Again, Jennifer, thanks so much for coming in, talking to me. Hopefully people will see this, look at your petition, and we'll see what happens on June 7th.
Yes.
All right? Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Appreciate it.